In this video, I'm going to go over my investment portfolio as an online business owner. This is very crucial because when you start making a decent amount of money, the next question becomes, what do I do with this money? How do I actually, protect it and actually invest it so it does grow and, not lose money overall? So I will say I learned a lot of this from, guys doing 8, 9 figures in their business because, I've only done so much and I want to learn from those ahead of me. So I'm sharing everything I've learned from those mentors as well. So first things first. All right, the very first thing I do, the first thing I'm always looking at is, how can I invest this extra capital, this profit back into the business? All right, before you click off because you're like, oh, I was looking for, investment portfolio, fancy stock. Well, before you click off, this is like hyper important if you want to make more money and you want to, build a massive network and have complete freedom. So first focal point is always looking at back in the business. Is there any skills like mentors, programs I can invest in to increase my earning potential, to increase how much my business can earn month over month? Is there any ads I can further invest in? Is there any employees I can hire? All right, this is what I'm looking at because these are always going to be the highest likelihood of you making a very high return on investment back. All right, like let's run some simple examples. So let's say if I hire an appointment setter. All right, so let's say I do this, and let's say they cost me $3,000 a month or whatever. All right, so I'm investing $3,000, and let's say they produce an extra 30 appointments per month. All right, so 30 appointments. These like sales calls for my business. Typically we can close, let's say accounting for a show rate as well. Let's say we're closing like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 people, or even like let's say a terrible worst case. Let's say we're closing like 1 out of 10 of these appointments, only like 3 extra clients. Now those 3 extra clients equate to roughly about like 22K for our business or so in new added revenue. So just there, like based on those numbers alone, I'm paying 3K, I'm making 22K back. All right, now obviously there could be other expenses like maybe a sales rep is taking the calls, so we can account for some expenses there, but even let's bring that number down to like 15K in profit. All right, so I'm still like 15 minus 3 equals 12. 12K a month in extra profit for the business. So that's like insane ROI. Like I'm making, what is that? 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5x on a monthly basis on my investment. Like there's nothing else that'll get you that. Like nothing. There's literally nothing else that exists. No stock, no crypto. There's nothing else out there. And there's going to be like lucky and go like some like crazy like trader mode and like do that, but you don't have the skills to do that. I don't have the skills to do that. So let's just do it in the business. So it's one simple example of how I can hire an employee and simply make back like 5x my money every single month, which is crazy. All right, same thing with like ads. Let's say if you're running ads right now and it is working, one of the easiest things you can do is just spend more money on ads. Or if I'm spending $10,000 a month, I'm making back $30,000. If I just 2x my ad spend, even if the ROAS, the return on ad spend, goes down a little bit, I'm still going to be netting so much more money than putting elsewhere. So the first place is always a business. Always look back in the business. What's the bottleneck? What can I invest in to fix this bottleneck or increase volume overall? That's always the first place. Now beyond that, so I know this is probably like the fancy reason you clicked on this video is like, okay, now like Jack, I have funds beyond that. Where do I place that money? So here's what I'm doing. All right, you don't have to. This is what I'm doing. It's what I found to be the best for my focus, my time, my current skill sets as well. So for me, I've experienced in the past with doing day trading and like active trading and stuff and like swing trading and all this stuff that requires a lot more of my attention and time and energy. And so that's a no-no. I've learned that it takes a lot of dedication to actually be profitable and like really good at that. And so I'm not willing to trade all that time required to be extremely profitable with that. I'm not willing to, because I know my business is, again, it's the highest ROI thing I can do. If I can increase my earning potential from like just 2x it year over year, that's insane. And so I want to place all my attention on that one thing. And with the investments, I want it to be as passive as humanly possible. It will require like 0% of my time, attention, and energy, like 0%. That's crucial for me. That's what I've learned has worked the best because it just makes the most sense from an ROI standpoint. So when looking at these passive investments, like what is the most passive things I can do that are also have the lowest risk and the highest return? Like that's always what you're looking at. It's risk, return, and also how much time it requires you. Those are the elements I'm looking at here. And so for me, what I found is like, okay, Based on this, I'm not going to invest in individual stocks. I'm not going to invest in real estate either, because real estate tends to require just way too much time. All right, I want to deal with a tenant or find a good deal on a property and do this and that. And like, no, too much time. All right, so I found like index funds. One of the simplest things you can do, it's just a fund of all the top performing stocks. It's a pool of the best stocks. And so I'm not betting on one horse, I'm betting on all the horses, basically. I'm betting on the country to keep on growing, which it has for hundreds of years now. And so that's one of the easiest things you can do, is just index fund. That's where I'm placing a large amount of my funds, a large amount of my capital now. The other thing I'm investing in is Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin. Because I've done a whole lot of research on this. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but that's what I found to be, like, just looking at the historical performance as well. Like, it's by far the best performing investment you can have compared to any other real estate, stocks, anything in the world. Like, just Bitcoin. Look at the returns, about 60% year over year, every single year. So that's insane. That's insane. I want a piece of that pie. I know it's a scarce resource as well. There's only 21 million to ever exist, ever. And I see that if you're looking at the news as well now, you're looking at the things, like the way things are going, a lot of governments, a lot of massive investment corporations are putting their funds more and more into Bitcoin. Like, just look at the trends, look at what's going on. You have to be observant of what's going on. And so I'm seeing that. I'm like, okay, based on historical data, based on everything I'm seeing, based on the research I've done, this makes sense. And so I'm placing my money there and I'm holding it forever, or at least for the next 10 plus years. And so that's crucial for me. So based on all my research, everything I've done, I've seen, okay, these two things are where I'm placing my money. And then also with this, based on your risk tolerance, you can allocate how much percentage you want towards each one. So if you're more risky, I'll probably go more towards Bitcoins. I would say more bigger risk, because just with the historical, there's less like history on it. There's just less data to go off of. But the S&P 500, the stock market, it's been around for hundreds of years. So there's more data on it. There's more reliability there. All right, you could say. So that's what I'm doing. Again, this is not investment advice at all. It's not financial advice. It's what I'm doing with my money. It's what I've seen that works best. So the business is always first. And then after that, it's just passive investments, passive things that I can place my money into once and never have to think about ever again, unless for some reason I want to sell it, all right, which I don't see happening for the next at least 10 20 years or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. Hope this video helps. Hope it sheds some perspective as far as what's always like the most important thing to look at first, which is always the business. It's always your earnings, always your cash flow. It's always number one. And then only after that, look at things that do not require your time. Like, that's crucial. Don't become an investor. You're not an investor unless you already have millions and millions and millions, like hundreds of millions of dollars, and you just want to play the investing game. And go at it, like, have fun. Like, you can do that if you'd like. But if you want to remain a business owner and grow the business, you have to stay focused on the business. You must, if you want to keep on growing. So that's the video. I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.